And I tell the contestants beforehand, I'm like, all right, you guys have signed the waiver, right? Good. I want to see violence out there. Let's go. Hello, sports fans. How are you? This is Mike Todd, arena host of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and you're listening to Into the Stands.
Mike, thank you so much for coming on with me today. I know it's been kind of a challenge getting it going here, but luckily I think we got it figured out, knock on wood.
Sooner or later, buddy, it all comes through.
Sooner or later. Gotta love technology till you don't. So had Greg Murray on a couple weeks ago, and he had nothing but good things to say about you.
He's a liar.
We'll see if you're able to return the favor there. But we'll start out with who is Mike Todd, and what is it that you do? What are you known for?
Who is Mike Todd? Mike Todd, let's see. I am a graduate of The Ohio University.
I'm sorry to hear that. Go Zips.
Oh, well, it's all Maction, baby. It's all Maction.
It is. Cool. It is.
And I have been the arena host for the Columbus Blue Jackets for the past 20 hockey seasons, the past 21 years. But with the 04-05 lockout, it's actually 21 years with the team, but 20 seasons with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I am one lucky guy.
Absolutely. So how did you get started with that? Were you in any sort of like broadcasting role before, or, how did you get started with being the in-arena host?
That would have been 20 years ago, this past August. A friend of mine who is a season ticket holder, shout out to Dee Dee Bowers. You can blame her. She's the one who suggested I take the job.
I'll need to find her and thank her.
Yes. She said, hey, they've got this posting on the website for, it looks like an arena host for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I know you DJ weddings and stuff. And I think, boy, this would be something you'd really like. And I was like, I never thought of it. But you know what? I'll give it a try. So that is how it started. And then I think there's about 15 of us who originally auditioned for the position. And then they narrowed it down to, I think there's like 3 or 4 of us, if I can remember right. And we each did a preseason game. And at the end of that, they gave me the gig. And awesome. I've had it ever since. So very, very fortunate that I've been able to have this opportunity for so long.
Yeah, that's awesome. So is this your first job working in sports, or did you do other stuff at college? Or
well, that's not true. I actually, when I worked at the local radio station in Athens, Ohio, I did a talk show with then basketball coach, the late Larry Hunter. Yep. And I also did a talk show with then head football coach Tom Lichtenberg for the Ohio University Bobcats. And so that was kind of my first taste of working in sports media, so to speak, and caught the bug from there. Never really did anything after that. Graduated from college. Kind of got away from the broadcasting world, worked in some other professions, but I started my own DJ business in 1996, I think so. That was my own company. And now before that, I had DJ'd for the college radio station and the commercial radio station that I worked for. And actually, I worked with Greg Murray because he had his own DJ company for a while. Mm-hmm. And so I would help him on gigs as well, but went into business for myself in 96, starting my own DJ business. And I did that. Oh my goodness. I did quite a bit of DJing for weddings, corporate events, etc., things like that. And that really prepared me for being comfortable in a public setting in front of a lot of people. And so when I auditioned in 2003 for the Jackets job, it really, really prepared me to be comfortable in that kind of a setting.
For sure. So when you say in-arena host, what exactly is your job? What are you doing?
I always say that I'm a facilitator of positive experiences.
Okay.
In that I host promotions with the fans. Sometimes those promotions are sponsored, sometimes they are not. So my main goal is to host these promotions in a positive manner and to make sure that we portray the sponsor and the Blue Jackets and the fan in a positive light, so that at the end of that promotion, everyone's like, boy, I'm glad we did that. Or that was a positive experience. We had a lot of fun. That was memorable.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that is my main job description, is to make sure that those kind of promotions and events go smoothly, go positively, and that it's a good experience for everyone involved.
Gotcha. So you have, at least the past few years, I don't know how long you've been doing it, been also the host at the All-Star game, correct?
I have been very, very fortunate in 2015 when we hosted the NHL All-Star Weekend in Columbus. They didn't really have a role for me at first because during the actual All-Star festivities, it's very regimented. It's run by the NHL, and you follow a strict pattern as to how they want things done. So there really wasn't a lot of room for me to do things there. And I did do a couple of things, but one of the persons who was in charge of the mascots said, hey, we need someone to host this NHL mascot showdown. This is going to be the first year we're going to be doing it, and we can't pay you. We'll give you a bunch of NHL All-Star gear. And I was like, cool, that's great.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that. So started that, and then after I did it that first year, I stayed in contact with the NHL, and I said, hey, I know it's going to be in Nashville next year, and if you're interested in having me come back, I'll drive, I'll pay my own way, and I'll pay for my own hotel and things like that, and I'd like to do it again. And you don't have to pay me again. I just think I'd really like to do it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, and I was never really super pushy, but like every couple of months I would just send an email, hey, just a reminder that if you need me. So eventually they did say yes, and I went down, and they liked what I did. And then after that, I've been doing it ever since. From, well, let's see, Los Angeles, Tampa, San Jose, St. Louis, Las Vegas, and then we were down in the Fort Lauderdale Sunrise area this past end of January, beginning of February.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a real gift to be able to work with some of the best people in the league.
Yeah.
And so it's just been an absolute positive experience, and I'm really fortunate that I've been able to do that.
So what do you think you would say is your favorite part of the job? Just the people that you get to meet, or is there something else?
You mean like the favorite part of the job, like overall?
Overall, yeah.
Without a doubt, it's the friendships that I make. Over the past 21 years, I've been able to develop some lifelong friendships with people who are truly close to me and who I truly love. And so that is probably the biggest reward for me, is the lifetime of friendships that I have made over the years. It's that's what it's all about.
That's really cool. So take me through Mike Todd's game day routine. You wake up in the morning, we got a Jackets game tonight. What are we doing?
Pour myself a scotch? No, that comes after the game. Well, as a self-employed individual, my wife and I have 2 Dairy Queens. She runs an insurance business. We also have several rental properties that we have. So we do a little bit of everything. So it's get up in the morning, see what we have to do. I may be spending a lot of time here in my home office, or I might be out on the road, might be in the Dairy Queens doing whatnot. So getting all of that done so that when probably 4 o'clock runs around, I make my way to the arena, pick up my script, go to the production meeting, and go downstairs and have dinner and probably review my script there, and then go back to the dressing room where my stuff is, and I'll get all wired up with my earpiece and my microphone and everything, and I'll go over my script one more time. And then about 6:30, when warm-ups start taking place, I'll go out to the Zamboni entrance. I'll say hi to Leo Welsh. He and I are actually from the same area originally. He grew up in St. Clairsville, Ohio. And I went to a rival high school, Union Local, Go Jets. And if you watch on social media, occasionally when our teams play against each other, you'll catch us taunting one another.
Nothing wrong with that.
Go Jets, go Red Devils, and it'll be going back and forth. So, just kind of getting the feel for the crowd, looking around. And I really do try to take a moment just to kind of look around at the crowd and soak it all in and enjoy myself, for a couple of minutes. And boy, remind myself how lucky I am that I get to do this and not lose sight of that. Excuse me. And then I will make my way up to section 101, where the nationwide fan lounge is. I like to get up there before the game starts so I can kind of see things, and then away we go. Anything, you name it, any kind of promotions that we've done, and we've done them all over the years. So just making sure that we've got that done, and we've got our contestants ready and things like that. Another thing I want to emphasize is the amount of people it takes to put on that presentation. There are just countless people behind the scenes. People like Andy Hookman, David Traub, Derek Dolly, Jason Abity, Maddie Sexton. I'm forgetting countless people. And of course, Greg Murray. There's just so many people behind the scenes and camera people, audio, you name it. And it is such an experience to work with so many talented people.
And, that's the purpose of me creating the show, is to give those people a chance to at least have their voices heard, and then to kind of get the appreciation that they need. Because, everybody's been watching preseason. Everybody's been going to training camp, going to Traverse City. The players get, they work hard and they get enough recognition for what they do.
As they should.
100%, because without them, we're not there. But also, without the people that you just mentioned, without you, without Greg, without all those other people, we're also not there. So I think it's important that we make that known. So you mentioned doing different games and stuff with your fans. This is actually a question that came from Sarah Kent. I know you know who she is.
Oh, we love Sarah.
What is your favorite game to play with a contestant?
Oh, that is a great question. So Bubble Ball is incredible because I get to be a play-by-play announcer.
Yep.
I grew up listening to guys like Herb Score, Joe Tate, Jack Buck, all of these great play-by-play guys. And so I get to pretend to be them. I put on my Jeff Rimmer coat or my Bob McElligott coat, and I pretend to be them for 120 seconds.
Yeah.
And I tell the contestants beforehand, I'm like, all right, you guys have signed the waiver, right? Good. I want to see violence out there. Let's go. We were in an Ohio State football game a couple of weeks ago, and they did Bubble Ball in the end zone. My friend Malik Tuck, DJ Leak, he does a great job game hosting over there, and he's incredibly talented. And if you haven't interviewed him, you need to interview him. But that's a lot of fun. That's probably my favorite on ice contest. The one we do up in the stands, I would say. I always like when we do. Oh, the freshly squeezed one we did last year. That was hilarious. Where they had to squeeze the oranges, and then whoever had the most juice at the end. I really like that. That was really cool, and that's one where Greg and I get to do it together. Yeah. And because I'll say, visit Central Florida, and then Greg in his voice of God voice goes, freshly squeezed. And that just came out of nowhere. We were in the production meeting, and I said, I think I said, freshly squeezed. And I turned to Greg and was like, you need to say that. That needs to be you just coming out of nowhere, voice of God, man unseen with a visible voice. And so that's probably one of my all-time faves too. It's so much fun and it's messy.
Oh yeah. Have you ever had any games not go well or ideas that failed? Because I went to what made me think, but I went to a minor league baseball game and they had a game where they froze some T-shirts.
Oh yeah.
And they froze them a little too long. And so they were just sitting there just trying to rip them apart and they couldn't get them apart. So I was wondering if you'd ever had anything like that happen out there.
Oh yes. This one is an all-time classic. And those who were there know what I'm talking about. The name of the contest was Humdinger.
Okay.
So what we did was back in the days of the iPod, we would put headphones on someone and play a song on the iPod, and they would have to hum it, and their partner, whoever it is, would have to guess which song they were humming. Well, apparently we chose the most tone-deaf guy in the arena to hum Sweet Caroline by the great Neil Diamond.
Oh, no.
So I will do a poor impression of the guy, but it sounded something like this. And I'm just sitting there going, oh, this is not going well. And it was funny because then I turned to, I think it was his wife. And I was like, so Shirley, what song do you think that is? And, she got it wrong. But, sometimes when things go wrong in the contest, those are the funnest times.
Oh, absolutely.
Because then you can kind of riff on it and you kind of have fun. And I think the thing is then you get a chance to display how fun and how silly the contest can be at times. And if you let the fans in on the joke, say, hey, I know this is kind of goofy and maybe it didn't work right, but hey, we're all having fun here. And, let's just enjoy ourselves. But yes, Humdinger. That is the Mendoza line of bad contests. You start there, and then they get progressively better. But yes, Humdinger. That was quite the disaster.
That's great. So I know you have a couple kids, and they're they're grown.
Oh yeah, all of my kids are grown.
And so you've been doing this for 20 seasons. What is it like for them? I mean, is that something that when they were young when you started, did they understand what you were doing? Did they think it was cool, fun? Why is dad being weird when we go to these games? And then how did that kind of evolve into what it did today, or did it? Do they still think you're the weird guy that goes to Blue Jackets games and they give them a microphone?
Everybody thinks I'm weird. Everybody in my family, they're like, okay, yeah, that was really weird. It's like, okay, well, I get paid to be weird, so back off.
I think that's why we get along.
Exactly. So, in the beginning, it was kind of cool because it gave you the opportunity to give your kids experiences they normally wouldn't have. To meet a player or to go somewhere or do something. So, and I think I've always tried to do that. Especially now that all of my kids are grown and that now I have a granddaughter who has yet to come to her first Blue Jackets game. She just turned 7 months old. Hi, Hallie. Love you. I'm excited for her to come to her first game because when I started, my youngest daughter was born and now she is almost a junior in college. But now my granddaughter has been born 20 years later. My son and his wife. And so that's been incredible. And then my oldest daughter works with me at the Blue Jackets. She's one of the members of the Goal Patrol. And she's been there for quite a few years and does an outstanding job. So yeah, it's evolved over the years, but what gives me such joy is that no matter how old my kids are, whatever my family thinks of me or whatever, they think I'm a weirdo, they still come to the games. They still get to enjoy themselves, and we still get to share that. And I think that's one of the most rewarding things is being able to share that experience with your family and friends.
That's perfect. I mean, that's what sports is about. And I've talked about it before on here. Getting to take for example, going to take my 4-year-old nephew to his first Michigan game last week.
Oh, wow.
It's getting to be there and see his reaction to the big stadium and all that. Like, it's just, there's nothing like it, and it doesn't happen without people like you. So
thank you.
That's all the questions that I have for what you do for your job, what you do day to day. I do have a couple more questions. I call them our power play questions, and it's just questions that we ask everybody who comes on the podcast. Sure. First one is, what is your favorite sports venue that you have been to? Doesn't have to work in it, but that you have been to.
Okay, so Nationwide Arena notwithstanding, because I've been to a lot of arenas and I still love ours so much because of the openness of the concourses, the things that you can do, and we continue to develop that. One of the places recently that I really enjoyed going to was when I was asked to be a part of the NHL Global Series last year, and I was able to work in the Nokia Arena in Tampere, Finland. That was an experience that I will never forget. And to be able to work in that arena in front of that fan base with a group of hardworking people behind the scenes there, Finnish people who just did an amazing job and who I've developed a few friendships with, that's an amazing one. Yeah. And I always like going to Tampa Bay, the Tampa Bay Lightning games. I like going and watching games there. My friend Greg Wolf, who's the arena host for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he does a lot of the hosting jobs for a lot of the other the stadium games and the Heritage Classics and whatnot. So I love to be a fan and watch him work. Yeah. So that's great. But it's there's so many, but I would say probably the one that kind of sticks in my head right now, if it's not going to be Nationwide Arena, it's going to be the Nokia Arena in Tampere, Finland. I love Finland and I miss it, and I would love to be back there right now because the people are just the best.
I wanted to go to that so bad. I just couldn't make it work with my work schedule, unfortunately. So that kind of answers the second one as well. What is your favorite venue that you've worked in? So that kind of hits that one off as well. What is your favorite sports memory? Doesn't have to be something that you were working. Could be something when you were a kid. Just in general, your favorite sports memory.
I have 3 memories that are tied for first place. Number one, the first time my son played lacrosse at the collegiate level. The second one was the first time my oldest daughter competed in a world championship for equestrian sports. Wow. And then my third favorite moment is watching my youngest daughter compete for the first time at the collegiate level in lacrosse, and then winning the OAC tournament with the Capital Women's Lacrosse team and being able to make it to the second round of the NCAA tournament. So watching my kids compete in any arena, anywhere, in any sport, those are my absolute favorite sports memories.
Gotcha. Now, where did your son play?
He played at Wilmington College, another OAC team, and then my youngest daughter, she plays at Capital.
That's awesome. And then final one, if you could attend any sporting event, I'm curious to see if yours is the same as Greg's. If you could attend any sporting event, one sporting event, what would it be?
Ooh, any sporting event. Well, the selfish choice is, Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, we win and I hoist the cup.
That was Greg's answer.
After 125 other people have hoisted the cup, eventually get to me. So that's
Greg's
the first
reasoning.
one.
Greg's reasoning was just that he wanted to be able to touch it. He didn't.
Yeah, you do not touch that bad boy until your team wins the cup.
Nope.
But if I'm gonna go, I would want to go something like I've never been to before, and maybe a sport that I've never watched before. So maybe like the America's Cup sailing thing. I think that'd be kind of different. Probably something like that. Maybe go watch cliff diving. I don't know, just something exotic and different that I've never experienced before.
Some ESPN 8 The Ocho.
Yes.
We were watching Slippery Stairs a couple weeks ago.
Oh my Lord!
It was great. Look it up. It's great.
Slippery Stairs not on my list.
I don't. If you watch it, it might pop up. So that is the last question that I have for you at this time. If you have anything that you want to talk about, anything that you want to plug, any of your social medias, this is your time. Take it away.
Well, you can follow me on Twitter, X, whatever the heck it's called these days, at MikeTodd614. Same thing on the Instagram. As far as causes, I know as of this taping, do we still say taping? As of this recording, I know Aaron Portzline has posted about his struggles with kidney disease and whatnot, and that he's going to have to go through dialysis and that he's looking for a donor. We also have a friend of ours. Her name is Andrea Stoner, and she is having the same battle that Aaron is facing. And actually, we just got recent news that she may have a donor and that they're going to be able to get that done soon. So I would just say, if you haven't done so already, be an organ donor. Put it on your driver's license whenever you apply for a driver's license or a state ID, and they ask you, will you be an organ donor? You can't take them with you. And I've actually known several friends who have passed who were organ donors. And because of that, they saved lives. So I would encourage anyone to be an organ donor. It's simple to do, and it's a selfless act. It's a selfless act to give back and help someone else out.
Absolutely. And like you said, you can't take them with you. So, why not help somebody else?
There you go.
So, Mike, I really appreciate it. I appreciate your time. Good luck this season coming out. I know I'm kind of dating it by saying that, but you look behind me there. We got 9 days till opening night.
TikTok, baby.
I look forward to it.
A week from this Thursday, it's going to be electric. I'm so excited for this season. I know there have been a few distractions here and there in the off season, and hey, that's the business we've chosen.
What it is.
But I tell you what. Last couple weeks ago, when we did the open practice, and I was able to sit right on the glass and watch Adam Fantilli and Patrick Laine work together. That was artistry. That was ballet. That was incredible to watch. And I'm thinking, oh boy, if this clicks, we're gonna have a great season, and I'm excited for it.
Absolutely. So I appreciate it, and go Jackets.
Go Jackets. Let's go.
We really hope you enjoyed today's conversation, and we thank you for listening. If you did enjoy the show, we ask that you please subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. If there's someone that you would like to hear from, drop us a name in the comments or on Twitter at Into the Stands. Be sure to check out our other shows. The 614 and Beyond Pod talks all things Columbus and is hosted by my buddy Jason Newland, who is also a writer for the Hockey News. To read his work, go to thehockeynews.com, click on Teams, and then Columbus Blue Jackets. He is also very active on Twitter at F1RE The Cannon. My good friend Boomer is the host of B&B's Roundtable. It's a local hockey podcast for fans by fans with a rotating cast of panelists, so pull up a chair and take a seat with Boomer and Booner at B&B's Roundtable. Be sure to also give him a follow on Twitter at LittleBoomerCBJ. If you like video-based content, check out Around the Fifth Line. It's our Blue Jackets debate show, which also features a rotating cast of characters, and that can be found on YouTube as well as anywhere podcasts are found. Finally, check out our newest show, the Smashing Heads podcast, where James III and I talk about our favorite teams, which all happen to be rivals. My name is Dave Fetzer. I am the host of Into the Stands, and I can be found on all social media at The Scoreboard Guy. This has been Into the Stands, and thank you for listening.